CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an appeal from the Red Cross for more aid after Hurricane Melissa pummeled the Caribbean. Abigail Beeman has more on the path of destruction left behind and a death toll that's expected to rise.
This family fights tears surveying the damage to their home in coastal Black River.
If we had stayed, we'd have died.
And at the same time feels fortunate.
I thank God I can find a bed to sleep on. So even though they are soaking wet, but we can lean them up with the water can and drain out. If we even sit up, we will manage. We will manage.
Hurricane Melissa has killed dozens and caused massive destruction across Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba.
Today, our government is providing $7 million in humanitarian assistance.
That promise from Ottawa breaks down to $5 million for humanitarian partners providing aid such as sanitation and clean water, and $2 million for the World Food Program distributing food and relief. The government says Canada hasn't received any requests for military or personnel help, but stands ready.
We're standing with the Caribbean today, and we'll be here tomorrow to help rebuild stronger, safer, and more resilient.
We think this is going to be a little worse than what the initial reports are looking like.
The group Global Medic has portable water purification units and family emergency kits on the way to Jamaica, offering drone service as well. Rahul Singh says being on an island poses additional challenges.
There's less infrastructure and less capacity for folks to go to. And then with the flooding, and then the flooding sitting there, you've got to get rid of that water.
Tonight, Hurricane Melissa batters on towards Bermuda, downgraded to a still very powerful Category 2 storm. At this point, it's forecast to be a post-tropical storm as it passes Canada's east coast early Saturday morning. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Here in London, family members say they are desperately trying to get in touch with loved ones in Jamaica. One man whose parents moved there for retirement says he was on the phone with them in the middle of the storm when the call dropped. And as Sean Irvin reports, he hasn't heard from them since.
For a quarter of a century, high school sweethearts Richard and Diane Kitching have been living the good life in Jamaica. Richard's son Jason and daughter-in-law Janine often visit the couple's island home.
They've got a view of the coast from where they live. It's like what everyone dreams about doing. Let's just retire and move to Jamaica.
Richard, a former London firefighter, and Diane fell in love with Jamaica during vacations in the 1980s and 90s. Early retirement allowed them to move there. Over the ensuing years, the couple has ridden out several hurricanes, but never a direct hit. As Melissa approached Category 5, there was fear it could be more threatening. Jason checked in frequently. At noon Tuesday, Diane told her son the winds were high but manageable. 90 minutes later, the situation had changed dramatically for the worse.
It was quite a frantic call. At that time, they were underneath the house because the roof had blown off already and all the windows had been blown out.
As seen on this map, the couple's home lies on the southeastern tip of the island, atop a steep mountain, leaving them few areas to hide. In their last communication with Jason, he learned his parents had moved to take shelter under a concrete porch.
They were quite frightened and they were trying to make their way to the building we call the bunker.
Seconds later, Jason said the phone went dead. He has not heard from his parents since.
I'm just waiting on bated breath to hear their voices and tell me that they are okay.
If they have food, if they have water, if they have a place to rest their heads, like we don't know.
Desperate for information, Janine has contacted every agency available.
I don't know if there's a world where there can be a helicopter that goes to their mountain, but I'm just doing everything I can.
So far, the couple has been told it could be days, if not weeks, before communications are restored.
My dad is quite a resourceful man.
He's MacGyver.
He's a MacGyver.
If anyone can get through this, it's Richard.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
London City councillors appear poised to approve a 35% pay raise for next term. However, there is opposition. The union president representing City Hall's inside workers says if they get that, he wants the same increases in their next contract. Daryl Newcomb reports.
Give us, a 35% increase. I'm more than willing to accept that.
The president of the union representing City Hall's inside workers says a committee's recommendation that councillors' base pay rise 35% next term to $94,000 sets new expectations for his members' compensation.
Our contract ends next year, so yes, absolutely, that would be something that we would bring up because, again, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
This week, a committee backed recommendations from a task force regarding base pay and top-ups for standing committee chairs, the deputy mayor, and budget chair. But then it went one step further, adding up to 4 weeks severance pay for councillors who fail to be re-elected. Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis rejects QP 101's argument about parity.
We don't have all of the benefits of union rights. We don't even have EI, which union members do. We're not covered by WSIB, those sorts of things. So frankly, he's comparing, apples to watermelons.
Lewis suggests a better comparison is with council members in other municipalities.
Hamilton, Burlington, Brampton, Ottawa, Toronto. When you look at the single-tier municipalities, London councillors will still be among the lowest paid.
We're underpaid. We aren't paid as much as others. So if you really want to use that, then when we bring it up in bargaining, please also support us.
The report from the task force describes the position of a councillor as a full-time service role, but acknowledges there's no legislation requiring them to work a minimum number of hours, nor are they prevented from holding an outside job.
It is a part-time gig. It will still continue to be a part-time gig. There are some that barely do a part-time gig as well. So I think we really need to look at that.
This is a full-time responsibility and a full-time job. And yes, I do expect people who put their name on a ballot to make a full-time commitment for the next 4 years.
Council will make a final decision about its compensation and potential severance pay next term at its meeting on November 4th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Unifor leaders rallied outside the Kami assembly plant in Ingersoll alongside workers facing an uncertain future.
We want to make sure that General Motors, the provincial government, the federal government knows that we're fighting for every job right now. Obviously, we're in the middle of a trade war. It's having a brutal impact on the industrial economy of Canada, but at the heart of that economy are working people, and they're the ones feeling the pain at the moment. So yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting for these jobs and keep fighting for this plant.
This is day 2 of 3 for demonstrations outside the shuttered plant. It was organized in response to a General Motors announcement last week, pulling the plug on the electric delivery van produced there. Unifor leaders say they're working with GM to find a new product for the facility so those employees can keep their jobs. Emergency responders say a driver had to go to hospital this morning after a crash in the city's north end. These are images posted on social media by London fire officials who say the driver crashed into a gravel pit and needed extrication from the vehicle. It happened near Fanshawe Park Road in Highbury, and the van ended up on its side. No details on the severity of the driver's injuries have been released. The provincial government has passed a controversial bill banning municipalities from using speed cameras. Bill 56 is called the Building a More Competitive Economy Act. It was introduced earlier this month and fast-tracked through the legislature. Premier Doug Ford has repeatedly called speed cameras a cash grab, saying his government will instead focus on speed bumps, roundabouts, and better signage. Critics say the cameras are an important safety device, especially in school zones. The next step for the bill is royal assent, which is expected Monday. The Royal Canadian Legion launched its annual Poppy campaign today with a ceremony at City Hall.
I make it a point to get out each and every Poppy campaign that comes up, and not only like to pin the poppies on people, but also to tell them why we're doing this.
The deputy mayor received the first poppy, followed by Canadian Armed Forces representatives, RCMP, London Police, and the fire department. The Poppy campaign is the Legion's primary fundraising initiative supporting veterans and their families. A recent survey suggests more Canadians than ever are relying on food banks, increasingly stretched to their financial limits by the cost of living. The Prime Minister has pledged to tackle those issues in the upcoming budget, but as Heather Wright reports, there won't be any relief in the short term.
In her spare time, Annetta Wozniak bakes cream puffs, tiramisu, beautiful cakes. It's a passion of hers, but also a way to try and make some extra money.
It's a huge challenge to live in downtown Toronto.
Wozniak is one of the millions of Canadians living paycheck to paycheck. She's a single mom and has a job, but is struggling. She uses the food bank where she also volunteers, but fears she may soon be evicted as she struggles to pay rent.
I don't pay fully rent because I don't make enough. My one income, it's not enough for me and my daughter. But I'm doing my best.
With the Carney government set to unveil its first budget next week, people like Wozniak will be watching for anything that might make their lives more affordable. The Liberals have already announced plans to make the National School Food Program, which provides meals to 400,000 children, permanent. Ottawa will also start automatic benefits for the 2026 tax year that will ensure 5.5 million low-income Canadians receive eligible tax breaks, including the GST HST credit, the Canada Child Benefit, and the Canada Disability Benefit. There could also be tax breaks to help those working in skilled trades and personal support workers. But financial experts caution it's unlikely the federal budget will include anything that will make an immediate impact on affordability.
I can't imagine anything in the budget that is going to be even targeted specifically for you that's going to be material enough to take you from being in a situation of financial despair to one of financial success overnight. That's just an unrealistic expectation.
While the government is expected to increase spending in certain areas, the Prime Minister has also warned of sacrifices that will have to be made during this time of economic uncertainty. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
The Prime Minister got his first look today at the South Korean contender to replace Canada's aging submarine fleet. With the latest from Mark Carney's trade tour of Asia, here's Judy Trin.
This is Hanwha's KSS-3 submarine, launched into the sea just in time for the Prime Minister's visit. Mark Carney climbed down 7 meters to check out what the South Koreans want Canada to buy.
I told him we can build a submarine in 6 years.
The Royal Canadian Navy needs to begin replacing its aging fleet by 2035. Of its 4 submarines, only 1 is operational, the others in maintenance.
It's the only technology in the Navy that guarantees that we control our waters. We get to say who comes into our waters, and if they don't have our permission, then we can keep them out.
Hanwha uses robot technology to build its submarines, which will cost about $2 billion each. It's competing with a German-Norwegian venture. Carney toured TKMS over the summer. Its state-of-the-art vessel is still in production. During a visit to Ottawa last week, the CEO didn't provide a cost estimate.
And of course, we will calculate on a base what the customer wants to have, which capabilities should the submarine have. So for us, I think it's too early to shout out a price range.
The Navy wants to buy 12 new submarines. The successful bid must also benefit Canada.
Factors like industrial benefits for the country, the use of Canadian inputs, materials like steel, the timeliness of the delivery of a submarine, for example, will be important for us.
The federal government says it will choose the winning submarine contractor in 2026, but it could happen earlier. Judy Trin, CTV News, Koje, South Korea.
A Southampton pharmacy has opened a new clinic for patients without access to regular primary health care. Scott Miller has more on the orphan patient clinic and what it means for the community.
For the past 2 years, Valdemar Janowski and his wife Vislava have been without a family doctor.
Even before that, it was very hard to get to the doctor. Most of the time we saw a nurse practitioner that worked for him.
But that changed last month when Kristen Watt opened an orphan patient clinic inside her Southampton pharmacy.
You make an appointment and you are done within half an hour. And before we found this orphan clinic, we had to go for just prescription to the hospital, wait 6 hours.
Watt, who is vice chair of the Ontario Pharmacists Association, says there are at least 4,000 Saugeen Shores residents with no doctor at all or doctors in distant cities like Toronto. She says she isn't aware of any other Ontario pharmacies hosting orphan patient clinics within their stores.
We just started it. There's no ministry funding for it. We just decided that it was something that we could do to get patients in through the door, get people seen.
The retired physician seeing patients at Watt's Orphan Patient Clinic has seen about 100 patients since the first clinic on September 29th. The pharmacy has held 4 clinic days so far, with at least 2 more scheduled before the end of the year.
Patients are coming back multiple times. We're triaging with them. We're also doing a lot of work behind the scenes in the pharmacy, recommending therapy for the patients before they see the physician, following up on their blood work, making sure their referrals are going through.
Watt says she thinks her orphan patient clinic in Southampton can serve as a model for other Ontario pharmacies and could serve as a gateway to allow pharmacists to prescribe and treat even more ailments for their patients. In Saugeen Shores, Scott Miller, CTV News.
The London Knights kicked off a road trip through eastern Ontario earlier tonight.
Pretty cool for the Omemee native.
Puck way up in the air. Yeah. Quick snot, they score. Quick little snipe there. And Wilmot makes it 3-0 London. 2 quickies by the Knights.
London's offense was clicking in Peterborough tonight. That was Ben Wilmot's 7th goal of the season. Newcomer Brady Waslin picked up an assist, making his Knights debut after being acquired through a recent trade. Final score, Knights 6, Pete's 1. That's 3 wins in a row for London now. They're on to Ottawa tomorrow night before a tilt in Kingston on Sunday. Coming up, the Western chemistry professor blowing up on social media, how he turned one of his lectures into a TikTok sensation.
5K a day is back on 97.5 Virgin Radio. Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Canada's main stock index saw a small bump today, helped by gains in the basic materials sector. The TSX was up 34 points. In New York, the Dow lost 109. The Nasdaq dropped more than 370. The Canadian dollar down more than 1/3 of a cent today. And on commodities, gold climbed more than $15 an ounce. Oil was up 9 cents a barrel. Thousands of students walked out of class in Alberta today, a massive show of solidarity with teachers who have been forced back to work by that province's government. Kathy Lee has more on the outrage and the political games at play.
Teachers! A dramatic lesson in civic engagement. Teachers! Thousands of students across Alberta walking out of their classes and rallying to send a strong message to the UCP government.
We're not walking out because we don't care about school. We're walking out because we care too much. We care too much to stay silent.
The students here are angry. You could really feel the emotion in the air because their teachers aren't able to strike. They've taken matters into their own hands and they want the government to listen. They want to be heard.
Pay our teachers and give us the education we deserve because this isn't fair.
The class sizes are too big, so we're not getting a proper education.
After 3 weeks of striking, teachers forced to return to their jobs Wednesday. The government using the notwithstanding clause to pass the back to work legislation.
To use the notwithstanding clause was a coward move. They're abusing their power. They don't need to be doing that. They had their rights revoked and we're here to stand up for them.
The move triggered the Alberta Federation of Labor to declare the possibility of a potential general strike. The UCP saying it would not comment on it until that strike was confirmed. Amidst the labor unrest, the Alberta Chief Electoral Officer approving a petition to recall Alberta's education minister.
It's a really tough thing to manage and would certainly take a pretty large groundswell of support from those who voted last time to vote differently this time.
Still, some of these students would support the recall if they could.
He's not doing anything to help the actual people who need help, which are the teachers.
Because they've had enough. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Hi there. The rainfall will wind down overnight, but still some showers in the forecast. Thank you to Serena Braun for this photo of Piper. Perhaps you're getting your last-minute costume together. Make sure you dress your pets up. Cute one, Serena. I love the little ears there, a little lion mane. Friday morning, mainly cloudy with some breaks of sunshine. Temperature will dip down to about 5 degrees at 8 o'clock, and that'll be our low. Overcast conditions expected, but as we head into the afternoon, improving conditions, just a slight risk for showers at trick-or-treat time. Stay with us. I'll have all your local weather details coming up right after this.
Welcome back with Julie Anderson now on the weather desk with us, and you can see there's someone over your shoulder who's dancing, celebrating, I think, because all this week we've been watching the forecast for tomorrow night. Doesn't sound like it's going to be as wet as we thought initially.
Absolutely. In terms of lake effect rainfall, the coverage not widespread. There's a chance for a spotty shower, but it's looking good. So we're going to go with cloudy conditions Friday evening, and the temperature at about 7 o'clock, 8 degrees. So that looks pretty good to me, that's for sure. Temperature was cool today, and it was wet out there. Rainfall, 8 degrees. Our low last night, 6, and basically a repeat tonight as we'll dip down to about 5 degrees. We have had some gusty winds as well, and winds will be an issue tomorrow. So those costumes will be blowing all over the place for sure. 6 degrees, as you can see in London overnight. Mount Forest and KW and anywhere around 4 degrees. Tricky forecast though overnight because we could see some clearing take hold. And if that happens, the temperatures will dip down a couple degrees cooler. So watching that. Low pressure moving by to the south, spinning up a lot of rainfall through the day today with periods of heavy rain in eastern Ontario. There were even a few flakes mixing in at some higher elevations. But as we head into your Friday, you can see this rainfall will be moving off to the east northeast, and it will continue to pull that moisture out. Our cloud will hold this moisture flux coming off Lake Huron will keep us in this cloudy pattern. But if you can see on this forecast model, there's some breaks in there. Now there's also a few showers around, so we can't rule out a spotty shower Friday or Saturday. However, I'm not expecting anything to be widespread. If you do get caught under a shower, it won't last too long. So peaks of sunshine for tomorrow, 11 degrees. Beautiful conditions in terms of a forecast that could go either way this time of year. Winds out of the northwest, and we will have some gusts as we head through the afternoon. Over the next 7 days, probability of showers Friday, Saturday, 40%, and then 13 degrees heading into Sunday. Lots of sunshine, a beautiful day expected, mainly sunny conditions. We do have some showers in the forecast as we head into Monday. A mix of sun and cloud Tuesday and Wednesday, and the risk of showers as we head into Thursday. Midwestern Ontario, same pattern for you, temperature-wise, varied conditions for tomorrow, but there's about a 40% chance of showers. As you head out to do your trick-or-treating, the temperature will go from about 8 to 6 degrees, and we are expecting mainly cloudy skies. Showers, chance for it on Saturday, but mainly sunny as we head into Sunday. We could see a few showers move through on Monday. Now, as November arrives, we're expecting some beautiful conditions in terms of daytime highs. This time of year, things, as I mentioned, we can see major fluctuations in our temperatures, and this time we're going to average above normal. As we head into early next week, we'll have some nice breaks of sunshine and still some nice daytime highs hovering in the double digits. So as you prep for your Halloween, much improved conditions as we head into a Friday evening. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. The local United Way has launched a new fundraising campaign pitting London's best burger makers against each other. With more on the ultimate burger battle, here's Brian Bicknell.
Their ultimate burger.
From savor to sizzle to the swearing-in ceremony.
I pledge. I pledge. To try all the burgers. Try all the burgers.
United Way, Elgin Middlesex kicked off its first ever ultimate burger battle at 100 Kellogg Lane. Throughout November, 18 local restaurants will each serve up their own take on the ultimate burger. $2 from every burger sold goes to United Way.
We know that the needs in our community are great. We have about 7,000 people on the list for affordable housing. London, 1 in 5 kids in our community lives in poverty. So we have some big challenges.
Here's how it works. Diners visit the restaurants taking part and order the ultimate burger. The public votes online, and at month's end, a panel of burger ambassadors will declare the ultimate burger. So much on the line in this ultimate burger battle, and the ambassadors taking their roles very seriously, some of them in intensive training for some time now.
I think I'm up for it. When I look at the other people at the table, I think we've trained for it over the summer, gotten ready for it. It's going to be a tough November.
I love to eat out in London, and I support United Way. So it's just a combination of all great things.
I have been preparing my entire life for this.
Winning categories also include People's Choice and Most Burgers Sold. For a list of restaurants participating, go to unitedwayem.ca. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Finally tonight, a Western University professor is making quite an impression with his students and the internet. A video of his recent chemistry lesson turned pop performance has gone viral. With more, here's Rita Ismail.
This is not Ed Sheeran, but rather educator Derek McLaughlin, a professor at Western University who's now become a viral sensation.
It's a little surreal. I mean, it's strange.
The video of Professor McLaughlin singing during a lecture on ketones has amassed more than 1 million views on social media platform TikTok.
I recorded it. It was a usual lecture on Thursday night, and I posted it right before going to bed. Then overnight, it blew up. It got like 1.4 million views.
McLaughlin says he's always looking for creative ways to engage students, often by setting course material to songs they already know and love.
This particular song, it had a line about, you know, I'm in love with your body, and I have a lecture on ketone bodies, and I thought that worked well, so then I just created the song from there.
The musical remix has struck a chord with his students.
When he first started singing, I was like really shocked because I wasn't like expecting that, but the whole class started to get into it, and we started to like sing along with him, clap with him, and it was super exciting.
A lot of classes, you kind of don't have stuff to remember those things by when you're in the exam, but having someone who puts that extra effort to make songs for you, do interactive things for you, it really is inspiring and helps me memorize and do better on exams.
McLaughlin has been teaching for more than 2 decades and says this isn't the first time he's brought music into his lectures.
I use humor. I tell some personal stories in class to make that sense of connection with the students, because then I think they're more ready to learn if they feel like you're a person that, you know, they're connected to.
Although he's not a professional singer, McLaughlin says his background in piano lessons and high school plays helps him bring a bit of performance to the classroom. And while his chemistry class may not land him a record deal anytime soon, it's clear this Western professor has found the right formula for learning. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.